Welcome to Conversations with Jen and Mel. This show is about real life with real people, having real conversations, from better health to mental health and more. Let's check out the conversation right now with your host, Jen and Mel.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about what? All the good times. What? And the bad times. What happened?
I don't know.
You don't know? What's... Okay.
Let's talk about sex. That's all.
Let's talk about sex. Okay, so...
We're not talking about sex. That is not
We're not talking about sex.
That's
We
not
don't even know how to sing the song right.
Today's topic. This was a question that was asked to us by Facebook.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't asked to us directly, but this is the topic. The question is, what do you do when your spouse is not emotionally available?
Call your girlfriend.
Okay. Yes, you will call your girlfriends. And what else, Melanie?
Call your mom.
Okay, so I was asking Melanie, did the person marry wrong in the beginning and their spouse is not chronically emotionally unavailable? Or are they saying that sometimes, because sometimes happens where your spouse is not emotionally there for you?
Okay, now, we can have a fun answer, we can have a true answer, or somewhere in between. But okay.
We're going to do all three.
All right, so fun answer. Let's talk about sex, baby.
Let's talk about
you and me. So, okay. Sometimes the attachment was never even emotional. So I don't even know you emotionally. You never let me in that space. Sometimes we get tied to people because of what we do sexually, and we never even know them in another capacity intimately. So we don't even have an emotional bond. So that's the real conversation.
So now if you're trying to build an emotional connection in your marriage and you never had one, what are we going to do?
I think we're going to have to find the things, the doors that are open, because if common interests, so common interests can be the entrance. So sitting down with them, okay, well, let me do some of the things that they like, whatever that is, so we can start building an emotional connection. Let me engage them where they are. Meet them where they are before I try to bring them. And sometimes we have to really, really, really be mindful and pay attention. Pay attention to the things that they're connected to outside of you. Because sometimes you don't get the emotional response that you want, and you're trying to build that connection, but you realize that they're able to be affectionate and have emotional connections relating to other things.
Okay. And we connect differently now. So you cannot expect him to be emotionally connected to you if you are not sexually connected to him. You disagree?
I never disagree about sex.
Okay, well, what was that?
I was just like, oh.
Okay. All right. That's my point of view. That you need to be sexually connected to him so he could be emotionally connected to you.
I love that. What you think? I love that. But the other part of that, I think that we put the cart before the horse.
Sometimes, which is why I started by asking, is this a chronic issue or a sometimes issue?
And so in my couple sessions, I'll find that men continually want to replace sex with the emotional attachment.
Depending on what kind of man you got, because men of a particular age or who was raised a certain way are not connected to their emotions to start with.
Not connected. And if connected, it's always some sense of irrationality. They're always irrational, always impulsive, always. And so, but it's never about dealing with anything seriously emotional when it relates to so many men. And so their way of connecting again, instead of emotions, is sex.
Yes.
It's straight to sex.
Or a joke.
Or anger.
Or anger.
Frustration, anger. I always say that, they go from happy, glad, mad, sad, angry, frustrated, angry, and what about the range of emotions in between? There's so many other emotions that we feel that they don't allow themselves to express. And so sometimes when we are expressing our emotions, it triggers something in them they're not able to process. And so you don't want to treat your man like a child, but you really want to ask him, so how did that make you feel? And so I have a habit of asking my husband, how's your heart today? And I don't ask him that every day, but at random. How's your heart? How's your emotional self? How are you doing emotionally? How was the weight of the day? I know this happened. How did you process it? What did you think and how you feel about it? Engage in those conversations so he can begin to have an open door to begin to articulate them. And sometimes he walks in those doors and some days he's like, I don't know, I'm just handling it. And so I don't always get a response. But I also realize that when he's ready to.
So I was going to say, if you want your man to be emotionally intelligent, you have to be willing to listen and don't judge.
Yeah. And that's a hard process for some of us because I go from being therapist to life coach. Mm-hmm. And so when there's a problem, I want to be a solution. And sometimes he's had to tell me, I don't need that. I don't need you to give me an answer. I just need you to hear me. Wow. Just hear me. Wait a minute.
I think women want the same thing sometimes. We don't always want men like to also solve the problem. And sometimes just listen.
No. Because I want you to hear me out, to hear what's on my heart. Mm-hmm. I want you to be concerned about what I'm concerned about.
But that doesn't always mean fixing it for you.
Even if you can't fix it, even if you can just be present, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, in the midst of my conversation, you not having words, but just grabbing my hand. I'm already at a place where I'm so busy trying to fix it. I know everything that I'm working on can't be navigated by someone else. Mm-hmm. But I also understand the disconnect. So what do you do when your man is not emotionally available? Then you got a lot of work to do. And I'm really taking it back to the common interest. You got to figure out what's the door that you can walk in where you see he's most vulnerable.
And make it a safe place.
Mm-hmm. To open up more conversation. It's like, okay, I've got all these things behind these doors and I got to figure out which door to walk into. And so you're going to have to walk in and out of some doors in order to provoke conversation, in order for you all, because really it's almost like you can be lovers and never friends. Mm-hmm. And so although I share this physical connection and I share all these experiences with this person, I share the most intimate details of myself with my friend. And so a lot of times that says, okay, we don't really have a friendship here. And one thing about men is that men can be amongst men, and men are not always really transparent and vulnerable among one another.
Right.
And so everyone they talk to is not their friend.
Right.
And everyone that's their boy is not their friend. Now, women, we're a little different when it comes to our emotional selves. We're just pouring out. And so it's unreasonable, unrealistic, and quite irrational for us to say we expect ourselves and our men. And because, I don't mean to be funny, if my husband was another version of me, that would just be kind of weird. That was, I don't need another man. I used to think, man, I would like a man that was just like me. Nah, shut up. Please, I like the balance that he brings. So, making it a safe place. Reinforcing that it's a safe place. Initiating conversations. Finding out what he likes, what his interests are. Commonalities. It goes back to build. As a therapist, that is something that we actually have to do, right? People walk in our rooms and we have to sell ourselves. And I find that the quickest way to make an emotional connection for me, and so, with me, I don't wear a lot of masks. What you see is what you get. I'm extremely transparent with me because it doesn't matter what state I'm in with me. I have to allow myself to be vulnerable enough to be me because I am who God created and I accept that. And I'm just going to be that until he does something different with me. And I mean, outside of just change the hair. And so it's important that we actually create those spaces for others too. And so I make those exchanges. And so I'm transparent with me. And I find that when I'm transparent and I make the exchange is given. Because I have a lot of men who actually hear my voice, that actually listen to me. And so how did I make the relationship? A mutual respect. And completely affirming who they are. Letting them know that how you feel right now, I believe in you. It doesn't matter what's going on. Completely affirming who they are. And always giving them room to be vulnerable and always going back to the positive. So continue to affirm. Build a friendship. And watch it flourish. Those will be the continue to affirm, build a friendship, be patient, and watch it flourish.
Okay, that's one answer.
Okay.
And then let's say this is sometimes he's not emotionally available.
He don't want to do the work. It's easier not to be. It's easier to.
I thought you was going to say the other thing.
What?
Call your girlfriend.
Call your girlfriend.
So we do have to have emotional connections outside of our spouse and be comfortable enough with you.
And so
you cannot depend on your spouse to fulfill all of your emotional needs. You need to join a book club, prayer group.
She said a book club.
Get busy.
Go
to work.
Prayer group.
Have a friend.
Go to work.
Take yourself out for coffee.
Go for coffee.
Do like your spouse is not going to be the be all end all of your emotional needs.
I mean, that's a lot of expectation.
Yeah. That is heavy to put on somebody.
Yes. Listen, and be okay in the silence. Like with my husband, listen, he's a man. I mean, amazing man. A man. When he does not feel like doing the work emotionally, you're talking about somebody who tapped out. I mean, he laying next to me and you talking to me? Nah. I mean, I'm so frustrated.
He give you the Are you talking to me?
I got the blueprints to Rome in my head. You hear me? I'm going to build Rome in a day. I need to have a conversation. We need to talk about it. And intellectually, come on, it's a meeting of the minds. He's like, listen, babe, you could have said that before now. I got to be up at 3 something in the morning. And I'm like, but this is the first time we've actually had to converse and quiet time that we settle down enough to have a conversation.
You don't mean that's the right time.
But what is the right time? But honestly, I'm okay with it. It annoys me because I want to build Rome in a day. That's just how my mind works. I'm just like, I don't mean to be funny. I am Pinky and the Brain. I'm just saying, whoo. Yep. It keeps me up at night. And so, in order for me to not annoy him, I just accept it. I accept that he does not feel like doing that type of work because he too has a full-time job. He has family days. He has grandbabies. You know, he's tending to everything that he needs to as a man, as papa, and whatever else everybody else wants him to be. He's everybody's daddy. And so I want him to, if he refuses to have a conversation and doesn't want to have one with me, I give him that space to retreat. You know? And if it's important enough, then I know how to say, okay, babe, we really need to talk about this when we get a chance.
So you put it on the show.
I put it on the show.
Excellent.
I know how to table it. I
like it.
I'm not expecting him to be my girlfriend. It's like, but hold on. It annoys me because when I don't tell him something, he says he's the last to know, and I don't tell him nothing.
Uh-oh.
And then when I go to tell him, he act like, why you telling me? I gotta call my girlfriend anyway to tell my girlfriend when I could have just called her first. But for Pete's sake.
That happens sometimes.
It happens more than sometimes.
That's part of the coming together.
So what do you
building
do?
one.
What do you do when your man isn't emotionally available? Is that okay? Because for so many relationships, it is okay. Do you know that even talking about emotionally, and people who deal with spouses who have dealt with trauma, spouses who have experienced different types of addiction, oftentimes find themselves in places and spaces where their spouse is not able to rationally connect emotionally. And so even though they desire to, even when they go to do it, their attempt, it comes across as childish, childlike.
I think it depends on what you're looking for in the emotional connection. Are you looking for compassion? Are you looking for, what are you looking for out of the interaction with the spouse?
I think mothers
should
should train their sons just to fake it, because we wouldn't know the difference.
Yes, we would.
No, we wouldn't.
Yes, we would.
We need you all to just listen until we're done and say, wow.
That would irritate me.
Babe. Just a few words, babe. That was a lot. You know, you seem like you took that hard. You know.
Then I was like, what did I say?
No, I said listen. I said listen.
What did I say?
I said listen.
You said fake it.
No, I mean, but fake the
they
response.
They already fake like that.
Fake the response. Like, just listen.
Sometimes they already fake like they're listening. They're not listening.
Okay, let me
And we know they're not listening. They ain't heard nothing. And this is why 3 weeks later, when we, it's time to go or time to do something or whatever, and then come back up, and you never told me that.
Do you know how many people that I have had to talk off the ledge that I have no idea why they got there?
Do not tell people that. Why would you do that? We are always listening.
Who's always listening?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
My job is to convince you that you can fly. My job is to convince you that you're going to face another day. My job is to convince you that you're the best thing ever. My job is to convince you that you can reach your full potential. I don't even need to hear all your story and all the madness because I got to convince myself first. I got to be so on you before I can convince you. So some of that stuff that's being filtered through, no, I need to just black it out. Especially after you've been in my... No.
So you're saying the husbands feel like we done been around this raspberry bush one too many times?
They don't know one conversation from the next. They don't know. They're not paying us no attention. They're not. They do not care.
Oh, Lord. Thank you, husband. Because Melanie is not listening to me. I'm just talking to myself.
I'm listening. I'm listening. Always
You
listening.
are not. You trying to solve the problem.
What's the problem? Wait a minute. So
you are listening to solve the problem. You are not listening to hear or understand. You're not listening with your ears.
Okay. I'm listening with my ears.
Right now. In this moment, you're listening with your ears.
Mm-hmm.
But you're telling me most of the time, you calculating.
Mm-hmm. And there's some seasons where I tell folks, listen, I'm doing some coaching in this season.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not doing any counseling. I'll do some coaching.
Okay.
Because we're going to build what's broke, let's fix it.
All right.
Mm-hmm. But I'm more solution focused. But I'm solution focused even when I'm listening. I'm solution focused, and I wonder if I needed to be more versed in theoretical approaches, if I needed to be more skillful in that. And so when I started using and being more technical and really more focused, my clients came to me and said, we come to you because we want answers. We got problems, we want answers. We came to you because we want answers. And so I'm not supposed to come and answer your questions. But in coaching, we're coaching you along to the end, and we all have a determined end. And you're supposed to come up with that end in counseling.
Mm-hmm.
In coaching, we have established an end.
Okay.
So
if your spouse is not emotionally available, you need to coach.
if your spouse is not emotionally available, as far as you being a coach to your spouse, they're not having it. As far as you being a therapist to your, they not having it.
They do not want you to fix them.
What you gonna have to be
Analyze them or anything.
None of that.
Therapize them.
None of that. What you gonna have? Patience.
Have patience. Yes.
Emotional attachment. But do you think an emotional attachment is necessary for a healthy relationship, or an understanding that this is not the place where I can always express my emotions about everything and be understood. But this is a safe place. It's a healthy place. It meets all of my other needs, and I got girlfriends for this.
I think it's all of the above.
So is it too much expectation sometimes to place? Because sometimes we're expecting things from people who may just simply be incapable of doing it. So what happens when your man is emotionally incapable or incapable of having an emotional attachment or available emotional? What happens? And so I know a lot of women who that really, really, really is concerning. And then I know a lot of women who just really just, I'm okay with a drive in the car. And I'm really, so, and I always talk about relationships. Like my ex-husband, I don't know him. I know I'm so serious. I'm so serious. I'm so serious when I say that was not the problem or the disconnect, that I didn't know him.
Okay.
Because I had accepted that was not available for me. And so my girlfriend always told me, she said, everybody your best friend. Everybody think they're your best friend. Because I always treat my friends with a certain standard. I always treat my friends like they're the best thing ever, because they are. Like, I love my gifts. And so I always had emotional connections and people that I could meld with intellectually, maybe, emotionally, even spiritually. And so I've had all these other spaces or places that met those needs. And so I'm not sure what good he was for, but.
So I think in some instances, if your spouse is not emotionally available, you need to lean on God and your connection with your spirituality. And you also need to have other friends, other activities, other things that keep you busy, that fulfill the things that your husband or wife, because maybe it's the wife that's not emotionally available, because no one person is going to be everything.
So emotional availability.
Yes.
So what happens when your spouse isn't emotionally available? But do they even know that they're not emotionally available?
I don't know. We only had a question. I didn't get the background.
Yeah. So do they even know that they're not emotionally available? Because what signs are you looking for that they are or not? Because they don't give you the response, the intended response? Is it a certain response that you're looking for that you're not getting? And so
That's why I was asking the question earlier about what are you looking for in the interaction? Because just because you're not getting the thing that they didn't respond the way that you thought they would, don't mean that they're not there for you emotionally. It could be a communication barrier.
So I think another thing
or you're looking for a certain need to be met and blaming it on the emotional connection. Well, you don't even know what you want out of the interaction.
I think a good thing to do is, and this is something that I think an exercise, I think I might actually start it at home and see if my husband will fall for it. And talk about, let's have conversations with one another. Even if it's a journal where we write letters to each other. Because I realize that my husband, in certain interactions, he's more vulnerable emotionally. And so there's a writer that lives in him. And so he communicates with another voice when he writes. And so so those are the moments when I get to receive of something else. So if we were more intentional about that. So sometimes we have people who are capable of expressing themselves just in other ways.
Yes.
And so maybe we need to figure out what those ways are too, of self-expression.
Yes.
Even if they're not able to verbally or vocally. Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Conversations with Jen and Mel. Please join us every Monday at 8 p.m. for new episodes on Facebook, YouTube, Rick.tv, and the Rick TV app by way of Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Join us again next time on Conversations with Jen and Mel.